This is lesson 4 of AZ-900. The title of this lesson is Azure Architectural Components. In this lesson, you will be introduced to the core architectural components of Azure. You will learn about the physical organization of Azure, like data centers, availability zones, and regions. And you'll also learn about the organizational structure of Azure, like the resources and resource groups, subscriptions, and management groups. After completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe Azure regions, region pairs, sovereign regions, availability zones, Azure data centers, Azure resources and resource groups, subscriptions, management groups, and finally, you will be able to describe the hierarchy of resource groups, subscriptions, and management groups. When you are working with your own applications and business needs, you need to create an Azure account and subscription will be created for you. After you have created an Azure account, you are now free to create additional subscriptions. For example, your company might use a single Azure account for your business and separate subscriptions for development, marketing, and sales departments. After you have created an Azure subscription, you can start creating Azure resources within each subscription. If you are new to Azure, you can sign up for a free account on the Azure website to start exploring at no cost to you. When you are ready, you can choose to upgrade your free account. You can also create a new subscription that enables you to start paying for Azure services you need beyond the limit of a free account. You can purchase Azure Access directly from Microsoft by signing up on the Azure website or through a Microsoft representative. You can also purchase Azure Access through a Microsoft partner. Cloud solution provider partners offers a range of complete managed cloud solutions for Azure. The Azure free accounts include free access to popular Azure products for 12 months, a credit to use for the first 30 days, and access to more than 25 products that are always free. The Azure free account is an excellent way for new users to get started and explore. It offers you $200 credit for 30 days. To sign up, you need a phone number, a credit card, and a Microsoft or GitHub account. The credit card information is used for identity verification only. You won't be charged for any services until you upgrade to a paid subscription. The Azure free student account offer includes free access to certain Azure services for 12 months, a credit to use for the first 12 months, and free access to certain software developer tools. The Azure free student account is an offer for students that gives $100 credits and free developer tools. Also, you can sign up without a credit card. In this demonstration, you are going to learn about how you can open Azure free account and how you can sign in to your Azure account.
So I've launched in private browser on my system. So what I will do now is to type the URL of Azure website. So I'll just type azure.com and I'll press enter. If you notice somewhere here, you will see this button that says get started with Azure. Here is the same button here. So what I will do first before I click on this button is to register for Microsoft account. For me to register for Microsoft account, because this account is required for me to open this Azure, I will need to go to any of the existing Microsoft email server like outlook.com, hotmail.com, live.com, and I need to open an email. So I'll click on a new tab and I'll type outlook.com. So what I will do now is to click on this button. So the button says create free accounts. So I'll click on the button, and as you notice, it automatically open a new tab. Now I need to supply information so that I can create a new email in outlook.com. I can as well create it in hotmail.com. I will use Edward Azamwa at outlook.com. That's going to be the name of the mail, and I'll click next. It's asking me to supply password for this email, and I will click next. Then the so for the email I will remove the S there. I think it's Edward. So yeah, so Edward as someone, then I'll click next. I need to supply other informations like the country, date of birth. So I'm going to generate just a particular date, maybe in a particular year, let's say 1950, and I'll click next. So the next thing that I'll need to do now is to prove that I am not a robot, and the Microsoft will give me some kind of a task to perform so as to prove that I am not a robot that is trying to open an email. So I'll click next, and right now it's trying to generate the task that I will perform. So here's the task. So let me just quickly do this. It's asking me to match with a specific angle. So yeah, I think this one is this one. Okay, I think this one should be this. This one should be this. And this one should be this. Yes, verification complete. So I've proven that I'm not a robot. So it's going to take me to the next page right now, and it's asking me to sign in now to the email. So I'll click yes. So it's trying to open the email right now. So the email is ready. So I will go back to the Azure website. Then I will click get started with Azure button. So here now, I have the option of either to create a free Azure account or to move directly to pay as you go. You can create a free Azure account in Azure. This free Azure account will give you $200, and that $200 will be available for you to use for 1 month. So that free account will cease to exist if any of these two things happen. Number one, if you exhausted the $200 before the 30 days or after 30 days. That is, you've used the Azure free account for more than 30 days. You cannot even use it for more than 30 days. It will only be available for you to use for just 30 days. After 30 days, Microsoft will now ask you to promote the account to pay as you go. So I'm going to click on try Azure for free, and this will now take me through the process of creating a new account, that is a new Azure account. Now it's asking me to sign in. You can see the reason why I opened that particular email, because that's what I'm going to use to sign in. Now, you cannot use any email that is created inside Microsoft Cloud. This is what I mean. If somebody created an email for you in Microsoft 365, that email cannot work here. So please take note. So you have to create this email either in outlook.com or hotmail.com or live.com. So I will type the email address Edward Asomwa at outlook.com, and I will click the next button. Said you couldn't find an account with this. Okay, I think I've seen where the issue is. So immediately I supply that email, Microsoft is going to check if that email already open an existing Azure. And if that email open any existing Azure, it will take me directly to that Azure account. However, if the email is not tied to any existing Azure account, it will take you to this particular page that you are seeing right now, where you need to create your own profile. So the first thing in the profile is country or region. Please take note. You need to choose the location that matches your billing address. You cannot change this selection later. So if your country is not listed, the offer is not available in your region. So the first name is Edward, the last name is Samoa, and this is the email address. So I'm going to supply a phone number. After that, once I supply the phone number, I will use any of these buttons, text me or call me. The essence of it is that I need to verify that I own that number. So if I use text me, Microsoft will send a verification code to my phone number using an SMS. And I need to come back and use that verification code later. If I use call me, Microsoft will call you. And once you pick that call, an auto-generated voice recording will, tell you certain code. So please write that code down, and that is the code that you're going to use to verify that you are the owner of that email. So I'm going to supply my phone number now. So you can see now, it's telling me that there's a verification code. It said we've delivered a code to your phone. So I'm going to check my phone now, and I need to confirm if truly they've delivered any code to my phone. And right now, yes, I just received their message now. So I'm going to supply that code 103 631. Then I will click verify. The next thing now is for me to supply an address. And so I'll supply the necessary information and then I'll click next. So next, after the verification of the address, it's going to ask you to identify yourself by verifying your card. This is very, very important. And why? Microsoft already provide the answer. It said we need to provide a credit card or debit card. We will make a temporary authorization on this card, but you won't be charged unless you move to pay as you go pricing. So the essence of you inputting your card information here is that once you move your account to pay as you go pricing, whatever resources that you provision, Microsoft will now charge you, through that particular card. It simply means that whatever card you use, make sure that at the end of the month, you put some money inside that card so that Microsoft can charge their own money from the card based on whatever resources you're able to provision and the billing that they actually send to you. So I'll just apply those information. Then after that, I'll click sign up. The next thing for you to do is to sign into your Azure, because once they accept that card, they will not give you the $200 for the period of 30 days. I will go ahead now and sign in into my own existing account, and that is the account we are going to use for the remainder of this demonstrations, and also for the subsequent demonstration that we are going to do in this training. So in order for me to sign into my Azure account, I will type portal portal.azure.com portal.azure.com, and I will press enter. And that is the URL for you to sign into the admin end of the Azure. It's asking me now to supply an account. So that email that you use to open that Azure account is the same email that you use here. So once you supply the email and you also supply the password, I think that's all you need. The next thing is that it's going to take you to the Azure portal.
Throughout your journey with Microsoft Azure, you will hear and use terms like regions, availability zones, resources, subscriptions, and more. This lesson focuses on the core architectural components of Azure. The core architectural components of Azure may be broken down into two main groupings: the physical infrastructure and the management infrastructure. The physical infrastructure for Azure starts with data centers. Conceptually, the data centers are the same as large corporate data centers. They are facilities with resources arranged in racks with dedicated power, cooling, and network infrastructures. As a global cloud provider, Azure has data centers around the world. However, these individual data centers are not directly accessible. Data centers are grouped into Azure availability zones and regions that are designed to help you achieve resiliency and reliability for your business critical workloads. The management infrastructure includes Azure resources, resource groups, subscriptions, management groups, and accounts. Understanding this structure will help you plan your projects and products within Azure. A region is a geographical area on the planet that consists at least one but potentially multiple data centers that are nearby and networked together with a low latency network. Azure intelligently assist and control the resources within each region to ensure workloads are appropriately balanced. When you deploy a resource in Azure, you will often need to choose the region where you want your resource deployed to. Some services or virtual machines features are only available in certain regions, such as specific VM sizes or storage types. There are also some additional Azure services that don't require you to select a particular region, such as Microsoft Entra ID, Azure Traffic Manager, and Azure DNS. Availability zones are physical separate data centers within an Azure region. Each availability zone is made up of one or more data centers equipped with independent power, cooling, and networking. An availability zone is set up to be an isolation boundary. It provides protection against downtime due to data center failures. If one zone goes down, the other continues working. Availability zones are connected to high-speed fiber optic networks. To ensure resiliency, a minimum of three separate availability zones are presented in all availability zone enabled regions. However, not all Azure regions currently support availability zones. You can make use of availability zone when you want to ensure your services and data are redundant so that you can protect your information in case of failures. When you host your infrastructure, setting up your own redundancy requires that you create duplicate hardware environments. Azure can help make your app highly available through availability zones. You can use availability zones to run mission critical applications and build high availability into your application architecture by co-locating your compute, storage, network, and data resources within an availability zone and replicating in other availability zones. Keep in mind that there could be a cost to duplicating your services and transferring data between availability zones. Availability zones are primarily for VM, managed disks, load balancers, and SQL databases. Even with additional resiliency that availability zone provides, it is possible that an event could be so large that it impacts multiple availability zones in a single region. To provide further resiliency, Azure has region pairs. Most Azure regions are paired with another region within the same geography, such as US, Europe, or Asia, at least 300 miles away. This approach allows for the replication of resources across a geography that help reduce the likelihood of interruption because of events such as natural disaster, civil unrest, power outages, or physical network outages that affect an entire region. For example, if a region in a peer was affected by a natural disaster, services will automatically fail over to the other regions in its region peer. Because the pair of regions are directly connected and far enough apart to be isolated from regional disasters, You can use them to provide reliable services and data redundancy. Most regions are paired in two directions, meaning they are the backup for the region that provides a backup for them. In this demonstration, I will explore Azure Global Infrastructure.
I'm going to open a new tab and I will go to Google. I will type Azure Global Infrastructure. This is supposed to, so from here, I will see Azure Global Infrastructure. I think this is it. So I'll click on it. I can see Azure Global Infrastructure said grow with confidence and sure is on a trusted, sustainable, and advanced cloud and AI infrastructure. 60 plus Azure region, 300 plus data centers. So, and Azure has more region than any other cloud provider. So let's explore global data center now. And this will also open another tab. And this is the URL datacenters.microsoft.com/globe/explore, and it's actually loading the global Azure infrastructure experience. So once it finishes loading, we're going to see the map of the world, and we can flip from one end to another to check certain region. For example, you can see the globe now. Now let's look at certain part of the world. This map is the map of South America. And in South America, there are certain Azure global resources there, but not all of them are region. For example, this one, so anywhere you see this is not region. So if I click on it, is what? Is a network pop. It's like a location where it relays information. And you can see the same network pop is here. And if you see this white round symbol, it's white, but it's round. What does it mean? It simply means there is a region, but it's still not active. So it's like it's a region that they are still building. And so you can see now as I click on this one, this is Chile Central. And he said the region is is coming soon. So it's not even the product is coming soon. Everything is coming soon. So they are still building the region. But this region is in Santiago in Chile, and that's where the data center is. But let's look at the only region that is active in South America right now, and that is this one, Brazil South. If I click on the Brazil South, it will give me all those information. This is the location is in Sao Paulo State, and it's replicating its data to another region in US. This region was opened in the year 2014, and the region has three availability zones. You can say available with three zones. So there is zone 1, 2, and 3. So we will talk more about zones later. And you're going to see the essence of this zone. And if you scroll down, you will see more information about this region. For instance, the global compliance, like standards, sub 3, sub 2, sub 1. These are security compliance. ISO 9001 is for I think that's quality assurance. Yes, ISO 9001 is quality assurance. This is an information security 27701. So, and you can see there are more global compliance there. Even CSA star There are a lot of them, 27001 and so on. Even PCI DSS, because you're going to use your card there. PCI stands for payment card industry. So you can check a lot of information about this particular region. And you can see it said we should, if you click on this link now, you can learn more about that replication. If you click on this, you can learn more about the year was open and other information. That is the only region that is active right now in South America. Let's go to another area. Let's go to Africa. You can see Africa. In Africa, I can only see one region, and this region is in where? South Africa North. And you can see all those information you saw are also here. Like this region is where? Is in Johannesburg. And it was opened in year 2019 with 3 availability zones, and all those global compliance you saw were also present here. I can always click here to get more information. You can see we just have one in Africa, the whole of Africa. We have one in South America. But then if you flip to this side of the map, this is the North America where we have Canada, United States, and Mexico. Mexico is somewhere here. Mexico is somewhere here. And if you look at this is the only region in Mexico. I can't find another region that is in Mexico. The one that is close to this is in US. So this is the only region in Mexico, and even this one, they're all in the US. So this is Mexico. And where is Canada? Canada is somewhere here. So let's look at this Canada East, this Canada Central. So there are two regions in Canada, Canada Central and Canada East. And we have one region in Mexico. You see the other ones that you're seeing here, they are regions that are located inside the United States of America. If I flip from that side of the map to this side of the map, no, this is what? This is Europe. This is Europe. And you can see we have a lot of data centers in Europe, like Spain, Centrals, and a lot of them like that. If you flip from that Europe, this will take you to the Middle East. This is the Middle East, Qatar Central, I know, UAE, and Israel. You can see some regions right there in the Middle East. And this is, India. This is also Asia, but this is India. We have Central India, we have South India. And if you flip it, these are the Asian parts of the world. Like, this is China. All of these ones are in China. This is Korea, Japan, and so on. And if you come somewhere here, this is Oceania. And we have Australia East, Australia Central, and Australia Southeast. So you can always visit this, this globe so as to get latest information about region. Because anytime you want to create a new resources, you must select a particular region where you want that resources to reside.
In addition to regular regions, Azure also has sovereign regions. Sovereign regions are instances of Azure that are isolated from the main instance of Azure. One of such sovereign regions is Azure US. Azure US is designed to meet the security and compliance needs of US federal agencies, state and local governments, and their solution providers. These regions are physical and logical network isolated instances of Azure for US government agencies and partners. These data centers are operated by screened US personnel and include additional compliance certifications. Just like Azure US, Microsoft also made provision for Azure China in compliance with governance regulations. They are available through a unique partnership between Microsoft and 21 VNet, whereby Microsoft doesn't directly maintain the data centers. Having discussed physical infrastructure of Azure, let us now discuss management infrastructure. The management infrastructure includes Azure resources, resource groups, subscriptions, and accounts. Understanding their structure will help you to plan your projects and products within Azure. A resource is the basic building block of Azure. Anything you create, provision, deploy, and so on is a resource. Virtual machine, storage account, virtual network, and so on are all considered resources within Azure. Resource groups are simply grouping of resources. When you create a resource, you are required to place it into a resource group. While a resource group can contain many resources, a single resource can only be in one resource group at a time. Some resources may be moved between resource groups, but when you move a resource to a new group, it will no longer be associated with the former group. Additionally, resource groups can't be nested, meaning you can't put resource group B inside of resource group A. Resource groups provide a convenient way to group resources together. When you apply an action to a resource group, that action will apply to all the resources within the resource group. If you delete a resource group, all the resources will be deleted. If you grant or deny access to a resource group, you have granted or denied access to all the resources within the resource group. When you are provisioning resources, it is good to think about the resource group structure that best suits your need. For example, if you are setting up a temporary dev environment, grouping all the resources together means that you can deprovision all of the associated resources at once by deleting the resource group. If you are provisioning compute resources that will need three different access schemas, it may be best to group resources based on the access schema and then assign access at the resource group level. There aren't any hard rules about how you use resource groups. So consider how to set up your resource groups to maximize their usefulness for you. In this demonstration, you will see how you can create resource group.
Now, resource group is like every other resources. And there are two ways personally that I used to look for any resources. The first one is to come to this place, and you can see if I come to all resources, it will show me all the resources, and these are just few of those resources. But this one at times is in fact very difficult. You might be looking for some resources for for a lot of time. So I prefer to use this search box. It's very easy. Just type, anything you want there. If that resources exist, you will see it in the list. For instance, I'm looking for resource group. You know, the resource group is here, right? Because I accessed it not quite long. But let's assume that it's not here. This one, this place will show you, give you the list of resources that you accessed, recently. Let's assume that it's not there. You come to this place and type it. Resource. You can see resource group, resource guard, resource bridges, and so on. So you click on the resource group. And once you click on the resource group, then it will take you to where you can see the list of all the resource groups that exist on your account. And you can see this information here. It says resource group provide a logical container to manage and organize Azure resources, simplifying administrations and enabling efficient resource management. So I can go ahead and create a new resource group, or I can use this to create a new resource group. So the next thing now is to create a resource group. So resource group is a container that holds related resources for an Azure solution. Resource group can include all the resources for the solution or only those resources that you want to manage as a group. So you decide how you want to allocate resources to resource group based on what makes the most sense for your organization. So the first thing you will select here is you know, your subscription and the resource group. So I'm going to use RG1 as a resource group, and for the resource group, you also need to select a region. You can see, just talk about a region, in the last demonstration, how important it is for you to know the region you want to, you want your resources to reside. So this is the most popular, region. By default, you always see the East US. So I will leave it like that, and I'll click review plus create, and it will go through process of validation, and it's telling me validation pass. So I'll click create, and this is how I can create a resource group. So it's validating it now, and you can see it said the it succeeded. I can see the resource group right here, and it's telling me which subscription do I add that resource group, the location, and so on.
In Azure, subscriptions are a unit of management, billing, and scale. Similar to how resource groups are a way to logically organize resources, subscriptions allow you to logically organize your resource groups and facilitate billing. Using Azure require an Azure subscription. A subscription provides you with authenticated and authorized access to Azure products and services. It also allows you to provision resources. An Azure subscription links to an Azure account, which is an identity in Microsoft Entra ID or in a directory that Microsoft Entra ID trusts. An account can have multiple subscriptions, but it is only required to have one. In a multi-subscription account, you can use the subscriptions to configure different billing modules and apply different access management policies. You can use Azure subscriptions to define boundaries around Azure products, services, and resources. There are two types of subscription boundaries that you can use. You can use billing boundary. You can as well use access control boundary. Let's talk about the billing boundary. This subscription type determines how an Azure account is built for using Azure. You can create multiple subscriptions for different types of billing requirements. Azure generates separate billing reports and invoices for each subscription so that you can organize and manage costs. What about access control boundaries? Azure applies access management policy at the subscription level, and you can create separate subscriptions to reflect different organizational structures. An example is that within a business, you have different departments to which you apply distinct Azure subscription policies. These billing models allow you to manage and control access to the resources that users provision with specific subscriptions. Similar to using resource group to separate resources by functions or access, you might want to create additional subscriptions for resources or billing management purposes. For example, you might choose to create additional subscriptions to separate environments, organizational structures, and billing. What do I mean when I said you can use to separate environments? You can choose to create subscription to set up separate environments for development and testing, security, or to isolate data for compliance reasons. This design is particularly useful because resource access control occur at the subscription level. What about the organizational structure? You can create subscriptions to reflect different organizational structures. For example, You could limit one team to lower cost resources while allowing the IT department a full range. This design allows you to manage and control access to the resources that users provision within each subscription. And finally, what about the billing? You can create additional subscriptions for billing purposes because costs are first aggregated at the subscription level. You might want to create subscriptions to manage and track costs based on your needs. For instance, you might want to create one subscription for your production workloads and another subscription for your development and testing workloads. In this demonstration, you're going to see how you can locate your Azure subscription.
So in this demonstration now, I'm going to show you how you can locate your Azure subscriptions and also how you can create in case if you want more subscription, how you can do that. So how can I locate subscriptions in my account? Here is it. I'll go to this place again, subscription, and you can see there. That's the subscriptions. And this from here, I can see the list of all the subscriptions. You can see I have Azure Pass, is a subscription, but it's disabled right now. And I also have Pay as you go. So this is where you can locate all your subscriptions. If I want additional subscriptions, I will click this add button. But right now, I don't want additional subscription.
The final piece of Azure management infrastructure is the management group. You've learned that resources are gathered into resource groups and that resource groups are gathered into subscriptions. If you are new to Azure, that might seem like enough hierarchy to keep things organized. But imagine if you are dealing with multiple applications, multiple development teams in multiple geographies. If you have many subscriptions, you might need a way to efficiently manage access policies and compliance for those subscriptions. That is where management group comes in. Azure management groups provide a level of scope above subscriptions. You organize subscriptions into containers called management groups and apply governance conditions to the management groups. All subscriptions within the management group automatically inherit the conditions applied to the management group, the same way that resource groups inherit settings from subscriptions and resources inherit from resource groups. Management groups gives you enterprise-grade management at a large scale, no matter what type of subscriptions you might have. Management groups can be nested. You can build a flexible structure of management groups and subscriptions to organize your resources into a hierarchy for unified policy and access management. Here are important facts about management group. Fact number one: 10,000 management groups can be supported in a single directory. Fact number two: a management group tree can support up to 6 levels of depth. This limit doesn't include root level or the subscription level. Fact number three: each management group and subscription can support only one parent. Let us see management group in action.
To locate management group, I will come to this same location and I will search management group. And for management group, it gives you the opportunity to arrange, your resources for proper management. So you can say I can use management group to group subscriptions. So right now I have, you know, three management group. The root management group, then I have management group test one, I have is a 104 MGO. So what I will do right now is that I'm going to click on create and I'm going to create a new management group. And there's a need for ID. So I will use management group test 2. So then I'll submit. So it's updating the group and it's going to create a new management group. Wait for a few minutes and we're going to see the new management group. It's going to update that new management group here. So it's still updating it. And you can always check this notification for information. The management group is ready. And if you come to this page now, you know, you can see it's giving me information about things that are happening in my account. You can see the resource group I created not quite long, and the groups I just that's the management group. So here's the management group, test 2. Now inside this particular management group, I have this subscription. So what I can do, or what I want to do now, is that I'm going to click on this particular dot, then I'm going to move the subscription from this management group to this management group. So here is it, and I'll click save. And that's it. So if I come to this place now and I expand, you can see this is the subscriptions, and where is it right now? Is inside the management group I just created.
In this lesson, you have learned about the physical and management structure of Microsoft Azure. You were introduced to the relationship between data centers, availability zones, and regions. We have also explored how the infrastructure supports the benefits of the cloud, such as high availability and reliability. You have also learned about the management infrastructure of Azure. We have explored together how resources and resource groups are related, and how subscriptions and management groups can help to manage resources. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to this channel. Please let me know what you think in the comment section, and do not forget to leave a like and share this video. See you in the next one.